Yeah, we got lots to say.
Hey, welcome to the show. That's Matt Cashel. I'm Bobby Bones.
What was that voice?
I don't put anything in my hair. I don't perm my hair.
Hair looks great though.
I don't.
You got some flow.
But the question was, what do you do to your hair? And I don't do anything.
But do you have somebody come over and trim the tips or whatever they do when you get long hair?
So I have actually never, at least in the past 20 years, 25 years, fixed my hair.
What do you mean you've never fixed your hair? You've definitely gotten a haircut
I guess
before.
with my fingers, but there are only two ways my hair ever gets fixed. One, when I was doing a lot of television.
Right. Somebody's going to, get in there and...
I mean, I had a
hairspray.
person that traveled with me. I had a stylist that traveled with me, a hair and makeup person that traveled with me.
They don't supply one for those big shows?
They do, but...
You want the comfort level.
I had a person that I kept on... It was important to have my own people.
Right.
You know me, I roll tide with all my own people anyway.
All my own people. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That circle
I have a circle,
is tight.
yes.
That's tight.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that, so otherwise I never fix my hair. So I started to grow my hair out, and not to grow it out on purpose, but our daughter's hair is funny and it's long, and she thinks it's funny that my hair is long. And so solidarity. And so I don't know how to fix my hair. So this is just...
There's nothing to fix. Dude, you got great flow.
Some days. If it gets humid though, like I finally get it. It's like...
Well, it's better than having your kids walk up behind you when you have a hat off half the time and be like, "Did I see your bald spot?
No.
Did I see your bald spot?" I was like, save it. It's not that bad. I'm not going to show it on camera.
I don't think of you as a bald spot guy.
Yeah, well, I've got some thin in. I'm not going to
I know you bring it up, but I don't think of you as a bald spot guy.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's because I've got the spray paint and I just old school. Have you seen
no
that?
shame in that either.
No shame in that.
Von Miller's going to play for the Cowboys.
Yeah. You know he had 9 sacks last year?
I did not until I read. I just saw it in that story. You may have known that already. I had dinner with Von in the Super Bowl.
Oh, did you really?
Uh-huh.
Why?
What do you mean?
Same agent? Like agent type association? Are you buddies? Like, do you guys talk about the chicken farm and all this stuff?
You nailed it with the first one.
I was going to say.
We literally have the same agent. And so,
By the way, I was at the Super Bowl and I didn't get invited to that dinner at all. How many people were at the dinner?
Me, my agent, my agent's partner agent, Vaughn, and Vaughn's guy. Vaughn's media guy.
I heard he's an awesome dude.
He's the best. And so he went on Dancing with the Stars. And so he did that show.
He did the show.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many people come on this show.
I'm telling you.
That are involved or have been on that show at Dancing with the Stars, and you have this immediate connection, and you have the trump card that you actually won the show.
So with Vaughn, they had told that I was on it, and also it's like Texas A&M, Von Miller. This is like Von Miller, like Denver Bronco. This is like super. I mean, this
is Von Miller.
Von's like a real deal NFL player, like a winner. And so we're sitting, and his media guy sitting to the right of me, and Vaughn's sitting at the left, and he goes, "You should talk to Vaughn about Dancing with the Stars." And I said, "I don't know. I'm just not going to bring it up. Like we're at the Super Bowl." And he goes, "No, nobody ever talks about it with him.
Yeah,
he wants to talk. I'm telling you, he wants to talk about it." And so I said, "Hey man, we had Dancing with the Stars." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "You were on it too." "Yeah." We talked for like 20 minutes. Like he was just so
really?
happy.
He was geeked out.
He was so happy to have somebody to talk about it with that understood it.
Yeah.
He said, "I do a lot of hard things physically, but because of what that was, how long we had to do it and how new it was," he goes, "That's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do." So we're going on and on. And I think he finished like 4th or 5th or something in his season. And he goes, "Yeah, so I felt like I did pretty good. Where'd you finish?"
Oh, he had no idea.
No idea. No idea. No idea. I said, "I did pretty good."
Pretty well.
I said, "I did pretty good." I said, I didn't think I had much of a chance. And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I didn't either." And then when I said did pretty good, I think he thought I didn't want to say where I finished.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I won." And he goes, "You did what?" I said, "Yeah, I won." So really nice guy, but I was talking to him about just getting older.
Yeah.
And I said, because I think he was with the Redskins or the Commanders recently,
yes.
right?
I know. I still make the same mistake all the time.
He was just going. So this is before he maybe went over or.
Huh?
No, I guess it'd have been. He played the season with them that year, right?
The Commanders last year.
Yeah.
Yes, he was with the Commanders.
And I was like, "Hey, how's the speed of the game?" He goes, "Well, I would say the speed of the game's faster." And I said, then when you started, he goes, yeah. He goes, but then I had a coach tell me, no, I'm just getting slower. And he goes, I tend to think that's what it is.
It's the father of time.
I know.
He's the best of all these guys. It's crazy because Vaughn was one of the most disruptive pass rushers, throughout his career. Even now, he still had, like I said, 9 sacks last year, so he can still go, but it definitely wears on you. Like, especially at those positions when you're a bookend where you're known as a speed pass rusher, that eventually it's just a step slower here or there. And you might not noticeably see it on film, but they know it, right? Because they've been at the elite of those guys.
I think he'll be great for Dallas in that I don't think they're going to expect him to be Von Fuller. I think they're going to expect him to be a guy that knows how to run that defense, that can be a leader in the locker room, and just some stability. They were terrible last year, and their defense is going to be really good this year.
Right.
Especially adding Caleb Downs behind him as well.
Caleb Downs is an absolute stud.
Even watching some of the camp
right.
footage of Caleb Downs.
Just his ability to communicate. I've covered him last year at Ohio State and was talking to Matt Patricia, who I was with in New England and known him for a long time. He's their defensive coordinator. He's like, it's surreal how intelligent he is, his football IQ, his understanding of what we're trying to do, communication skills, being in the right spot. So to have somebody like that in the back end of your defense and setting everything up back there, because they struggled mightily in terms of their secondary last year, but to have a stability piece like that, and then as you talked about, Vaughn adds that leadership, but he won't be an every down guy, right? He's going to be a pass rush specialist. He's going to come in fresh on third down. They're going to set up some games. He's going to go 100 miles an hour when he gets called in to go after the passer, and can be very productive in that role because he's not going to have the same wear and tear as if you're playing every single down.
Let's draft back and forth the teams, and it doesn't have to be your favorite team, but it still can be because you're a Patriots guy, obviously. The teams you would like to see win the Super Bowl because it'd be good for that team and that fan base.
Oh, gosh.
So
Okay.
we'll pick 4 each. I'll let you have the first pick. So next season, it'd be awesome if this team won the Super Bowl. Who do you have?
Why don't we go with the Detroit Lions?
That's a great pick mostly because of the reason you're picking them.
They've never won.
Yeah.
They've been super competitive. Dan Campbell's changed the culture. They've done a great job, and they're right there on the cusp. But if that team was to go with that fan base, they are a loyal fan base. And I played there for a season, and they come week in and week out, pack that stadium. And this is when they weren't as good as they are now. But that city would be rocking if they won.
I'm going to take Buffalo. I think this is the first time I've seen a head coach come in year one and there's the expectation they have to get to the Super Bowl with Brady being there.
Right.
They didn't bring him in to crap out in the AFC Championship game again. And so I think new stadium, those fans are hard up. Even when they were going, they lost 3 in a row in the 90s. And a lot of maybe the young fans
Four in a row.
Yeah, 4 in a row. You're right. 4 in a row.
Oh my God.
What kind of hell is that? Because
Oh my gosh,
I remember
I know.
it, and I was a child. And so as a child, things are just fun and stupid and goofy, and the Cowboys would win or all this stuff's happening. But now as an adult, thinking to watch a team right now lose 4 in a row.
Oh, it would be devastating.
It would be devastating.
Devastating.
I think those fans deserve a championship. I think the team has been really good, and I think they have the best quarterback in the NFL. And so I'm going to go Buffalo.
Buffalo, I like it. Another fan base that is in dire need of a Super Bowl championship. I'm going to stay within the same division, the Minnesota Vikings. Can you imagine if Kyler Murray gets there, they catch lightning in a bottle in that Kevin O'Connell offense? They've got the skill players to do it with Jefferson, Addison. They've got a good offensive line, Hawkinson at the tight end position, and then you've got defense. But if that fan base, again, Skull Viking, I was there for 2 years. It's awesome, and they are desperate for a championship.
What are their odds, Kevin? Will you look and see where Minnesota falls? Because you're right. If they get, I don't want to say a solid contribution because Kyler Murray needs to play well.
Really
But
well.
I'll say 7.5 out of 10. If he plays at a 7.5 out of 10 level, I think they have a real shot. They play in a tough division, obviously. But Kyler Murray was really good.
Rookie of the year, multiple Pro Bowls.
We forget What we remember is the iPad. Like, get off your iPad and quit playing video games.
We'll sign you to a new contract only if you don't play video games.
Yeah.
And you watch more film.
And that tainted Kyler Murray to me, honestly, because I'm going, he doesn't really care about football.
The perception wasn't that prior to when that whole thing came out about, because it made you feel like he didn't care about football.
And then that was followed with injuries. So you have that, like you're saying, you feel like, maybe he doesn't care. And then he gets injured. So you don't really shake that he doesn't care because he's not winning, because he's not playing.
Right.
But you're right. If Kyler Murray plays well, I think Minnesota has a real chance. How do you think Justin Jefferson feels? Do you think he enjoys that he has a quarterback? And it's hard because you're a tall guy. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray's not a tall guy.
Right. I've never caught passes from anybody like outside the pocket, so I don't really know what that perspective's like.
Like, what's Justin Jefferson thinking? If you had to put yourself in his mind right now,
I think if you put the ball in the right spot, he's going to catch it. So I think he's going to go do his job. I think what he's encouraged by is, one, this guy's a veteran. He's got experience. He's won at a high level. He's played at a high level. If he can come in and establish himself as that leader and they win ball games early and often, then that takes care of it. Because I think there's so much uncertainty, and they noticed that with J.J. McCarthy because of just what he's done over his first 2 seasons, which hasn't been a lot, so much inconsistency. All you're looking for when you have a premier wide receiver, and I can go back to Randy Moss or any of these guys that I played with, that they want consistency and the knowledge that the guy that playing behind center will get them the ball. And if he does that, then there's encouragement there.
What do you see?
Odds are 50-1.
Where are they in the
19th?
They're that low, huh?
19.
So bottom half.
Is that because of the quarterback situation? I mean, now we know, so the odds have fixed themselves as soon as they announce that Kyler Murray's a starter. But I'm surprised they're that low.
Yeah, right behind them is the Bucks and Commanders, just to give an idea too.
Well, the Commanders are a total unknown as well.
I know.
I mean, just because
the Bucks are behind them.
Yeah, right behind them.
I was going to say one of those teams.
The Steelers are right in front of them, and Jaguars.
The Steelers are in front of them?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go as my next pick, the Dallas Cowboys.
It was a great pick.
I mean,
why not?
America would love or America would hate to see a Dallas Cowboy championship, and that's what it's all about. Like, there would be emotion regardless. It's rare that we get a team that has that. The Patriots had that. You loved it or you hated it, and most hated it after a while.
Right, for sure.
But I think because the Cowboys haven't won it forever and they are the most popular team, I think for the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl, that would just matter, good and bad. And I think that would be really fun to see a Cowboys run. I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I say that as a non-Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, why? I know it's one of those non-sexy picks, but at the same time, with that defense that they have, CJ Stroud, I know that people are on the bandwagon that he needs to play better and all this stuff, but they've got a squad that compete for a championship, and that would be their first ever Super Bowl as well. And I think you bring another intrigue to the NFL because, again, you always want to see other people win, and some of these organizations that never have, it would be cool to see somebody come out of the depths and rise and they've been a perennial playoff team for the last, 4 years, and now to maybe make that next jump.
I think the interesting thing about the Texans is that if they do win a Super Bowl this year, the next year, it's going to be because of defense. And this has been such an offensive league. Mm-hmm. It has been, let's score as many points as possible and then figure it out on defense.
Right.
But Houston's one of those few rare teams that their identity is defense, and they can win any game because of their defense.
No doubt.
I'm going to go Kansas City. I love a dynasty.
Yeah.
I think people have kind of written off the Chiefs now as that's the end of that dynasty. That was fun. And then Mahomes got hurt and Travis Kelce's old. And I think people think the Chiefs are probably over as far as being the elite, the top 1, 2, 3 teams in the NFL. I like to see people and teams do great things. Even if I don't like the team, I can totally respect it. I think it's cool. We were lucky enough to see Michael Jordan. We were lucky enough to see the Patriots. You got to see them closer than I did. We were lucky enough to see LeBron, although his wasn't so much a dynasty. He himself was a bit of that, 4 rings and these arguably 1 or 2. So I like to see excellence. And the Chiefs were excellent, and I would like to see them win another 1 or 2. I mean, the Patriots had a big gap in the middle.
Big gap. And while they were going to Super Bowls, they weren't winning those Super Bowls. So they were still a dominant team, but it was from 2004 to 14? Was it in a 10-year gap?
10 years.
That's wild thinking that now, because it just seems like they just won all the championships.
Yeah.
A 10-year gap?
10-year gap.
Crazy.
They did go to 11 in 09.
But they didn't
To the
win.
Super Bowl, but they lost. Yeah, both the Giants. Or 08, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, so
08 and 12.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Chiefs?
Yep. All right, one more pick each.
I'm going to go another underdog. I mean, within the division that you're talking about, I'm going to go with the LA Chargers. I think that they were decimated with injury, still were a playoff team last year. Justin Herbert is considered one of the elite quarterbacks in this league. If they stay healthy, and within that division, that's going to be super competitive. And with Mike McDaniels coming in as their offensive coordinator, I think that they have a possibility to shock people. And also, if they win that division alone, they're going to be in the hunt.
Do you still have the odds up? Because I'm going to take as my final pick Cincinnati. I love small market teams. I would love to see Joe Burrow stay healthy.
That's a key.
I would love Cincinnati, who didn't have an outdoor practice facility until like 2 years ago to go, or an indoor practice facility. They only practice outside. Where is Cincinnati?
20-1, 13 overall.
And it's such a big year for not only Joe Burrow, you've got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins, you got all these, but for the head coach as well, who I think is a good head coach, but Burrow has not stayed healthy consistently. But if they do, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on that team because I think it's a winnable division this year. Did
you play with Devin McCourty?
I did not. I played with Jason, his brother. Jason was a cornerback for us in Tennessee for the Titans when I was there.
We have Devin coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk to him. He won 3 Super Bowls.
That's pretty good. Pretty good player. Not only was he all-pro at cornerback, he was also an all-pro at safety. And he was a really good special teamer. The guy is just an all-around stud. And I've got an opportunity to know him, his brother, over the years, but also his body of work speaks for itself, but then he's doing incredible things also in the broadcast booth.
Before we get to him, let's do 2 situational awarenesses. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, I'll give you the first one here. It's the final preseason game, and you're playing with offensive linemen who might not be on the team tomorrow.
Right.
As the quarterback, how nervous does that make you?
There's a little bit of speculation going into the game, I'm not going to lie. You've gone through camp, and if you're the backup quarterback, and normally you do get that start, at least I did when I was in New England because the starters usually won't play, that you have at least a comfort level with these guys because you've been in the huddle with them a bunch. But at the same time, you can't let that impact your mental psyche too much. You still got to go out and execute because these guys are all good players. They just might not be the frontline guys. In addition to that, in the last preseason game, more than likely, the defensive side of the ball is going to be doing the same thing. They're probably not going to be playing their starters. There was maybe 1 or 2 times we'd always play the Giants in the 4th preseason game that they had their starters play the first series. But other than that, it's normally the second line guys. And so it's kind of a fair fight at that point.
All right.
Okay. All right, here you go. Your wife, Caitlin's sick. So you're on full baby duty on the weekend. Are you sticking to a routine or are you just trying to survive the weekend?
This is literally the last weekend that we had. So this is exactly the story.
She was sick?
So she had food poisoning in the middle of the week, and she got just wrecked by it. She also has a severe autoimmune disease, so anytime she gets sick, it's like that times 3, and she couldn't get out of bed. So she had food poisoning, which then triggered the inflammation in her body. She has a terrible autoimmune disease. So I was 93% baby duty, and I tried to stay on that schedule as best as I could. I didn't always stay on it exactly. Sometimes, but I got a low A.
Yeah.
I got a low A if I were grading myself. Only one nipple, not both.
That's the producer?
Yeah. I got one strong nip, but yeah, at this point, our baby's 5 months old. She also knows a bit of the routine. Not that she's pulling herself to take a nap, but she knows, okay, I'm getting sleepy now. I'm rubbing my eyes.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun to see her body know when it's time to also take a nap. So this actually happened this weekend. And I would give me staying on track a low 90, me as an overall 24-hour dad or close to it, 82.
Outstanding, though. A low 90 for a whole weekend with no motherly support.
Well, as far as staying on schedule, I
Yeah,
give myself
that's
like
huge.
an 82 grade. I give myself a B.
It's still really good.
Yeah.
I
did forget recently to just feed the baby completely, but that was a whole different story.
That's okay. You just double up the next one and let her throw up all over you.
I've heard, and by heard, I said the same thing, and it was met with no. That's not right. Yeah. Because I did.
I just wouldn't even mention that. Yeah, that would be a bad deal.
All right. Final question for you. One of your kids says, "Well, mom lets me do it." After you tell them no, are you checking with her, or do you just assume they're lying?
I assume they're lying, and I also say, "Well, mom's not here. Dad's here." So whatever mom would say when she's here is different than what dad's saying right now as I'm here. So we can have this argument or discussion later on when your mom gets home and she can tell me something different. But as of this moment, daddy's in charge. So save it.
It feels like the question you asked me, I was comfortable with answering that because it just happened. It feels like you were so comfortable with answering that because it's happened before.
Oh, it happens a lot. It happens. Oh, mom said I could do it. I was like, wait, it's so far-fetched that my wife would say yes to that question that I know already. Like, there's no chance she would say yes. And you're just trying to pull the wool over my eyes. And I can be very reasonable, but I'm not gullible. Okay. So don't misinterpret me being nice as soft.
Does it ever happen though where mom actually does allow it and then you were wrong?
Every now and then.
Yeah.
But then it threw me for a loop. I'm like, what day did they get you on that where you said yes? Like normally I've heard you say absolutely not. I was just trying to stay in sequence with you. All right, your final question. A guest you really want says yes, but their team says the biggest topic of conversation is off limits. Are you still doing the interview?
This has happened a few times. It's happened in a scenario where I can give you a specific example because they won't care. Whenever Blake and Miranda were going through their divorce, Blake was coming in and they said, "Don't ask Blake about the divorce." And I was like, okay. And this is me still pretty early and new to Nashville, and Blake doesn't live here, so I didn't want to miss that interview or miss kind of, I won't say introduction, but we didn't have a relationship at all, and I just wanted to move that relationship along.
Right.
And so I said yes, and so I did not ask about it. And like the second thing he says to me is, "Yeah, Miranda and I, we got divorced, man. That's been some big." And so he just starts talking about it, right? that doesn't happen every time, but I had chosen in that instance,
Right.
because I was early here, I did not have the proper relationships to say I'll do it without asking about the big thing. If it's something that I really want to talk about, or if I'm skipping it and everyone's going, "Why isn't he asking it?" I would just rather not do the interview.
Right.
If it's something though that
Does that speak to the integrity of the interviewer, right? Because everybody wants to hear, everybody knows it. Everybody wants to hear
what
it.
kind of integrity do people count on me to have? I'm not Ted Koppel. So
It may be.
if it's something though where I feel like I'm being told how to do my job,
Yeah.
I'm going to pass on it. There are times though where I can say, they go, "Hey, they don't want to talk about this." And honestly, I don't want to talk about that anyway.
Right.
And so that one doesn't affect me as much because I really try not to lead with my ego as much anymore. I think in my way insecure days, it was much more ego led. Now it's just, I just want to have a good show or a good interview. And if they say they do not want to talk about flat earth. And I was like, well, I was never going to ask them about that anyway. I don't get offended that they don't want to talk about flat earth.
Right.
So I'm good.
Yeah.
So there's some nuance to that answer. If they say, "Don't talk about the biggest thing," and the biggest thing is what I want to talk about, I will not do the interview.
But it's normally, I'm guessing, very personal stuff, right? There's
Yeah, but why
divorce,
put yourself
controversy, this,
in
that,
front of a
that.
microphone right when you're going through some stuff? Like
Right.
you should just hide.
100%.
Or just not
let it blow over a little
or
bit.
just do all your own stuff like into a microphone, into a camera.
Right.
You know, you don't have to go in for. But yeah, if it's something that's really big and I don't ask and it looks like I'm a coward, I won't do the interview.
Yeah.
Integrity, who cares? I mean, we're still
Integrity, who gives a shit?
It's like I'm not lying.
I won't feed my baby sometimes.
No
Who
one
cares?
holds me
I'm
to
not lying.
no one holds me to any standard. All right, we're gonna break. Come back with three-time Super Bowl champion Devin McCourty. Hey, let's welcome in Devin McCourty, three-time Super Bowl champion, longtime Patriots captain. Really one of the smartest defensive backs of his era. 13 seasons in New England, went from first-round pick to leader of the Patriots defense. I mean, he is a champion. This is your guy, huh?
Oh, he's an absolute stud.
All right.
I mean, the man, the myth, the legend. And 13 seasons with what team? Devin McCourty. What's going on, buddy?
What's happening, man? You know exactly what that feels like. 13 seasons with Bill Belichick, man. There was some good and bad days mixed in there.
But it sounds like probably more bad. I mean, more good days than bad. But the funny part is, I go back to my New England days, and everybody's like, "What was it like winning at such a high rate?" And I said, "You know what's crazy is that when we were winning, when you'd go in, you review the film, it almost felt a lot of times like you lost the game."
Nothing was like those Monday morning lowlights. And that's what we all talked about. No matter how well you played, everyone remembered like there were 1, 2, or 3 bad plays, and you sat in your seat and you were like, I hope he don't show my play. I hope he don't show my. Yeah. And then as soon as the beginning of that play came up, because all of us were crazy. Like everyone watched the film before they got in the meeting. Like guys they were into it. You'd be like, damn, here goes. And he would go off on a rant, rip you. And then everyone would laugh. And I think that was the joy in New England. We all took it. We laughed about it. We made fun of Bill when we could. And then you focused on winning the next week.
At what point did you realize New England was the only place you were going to and wanted to play?
Honestly, my last year, after the 2022 season, I thought about continuing to play, but I was going to be 35 years old, and I knew New England really wasn't in the position to win. And so I, started brainstorming maybe what are some teams. And that was the moment, I would say probably in like that February time where I was kind of going out, hanging out, staying out in Boston and just meeting so many younger people who were like 22, 23. And then you start to feel old because they're like, man, I've been watching you since I was 12. It's so funny. Hey, can I get you a drink? And then it kind of set in that like, hey, man, this was my second home. I wanted to only be here. It's time to, hang up the cleats and retire. Special place, man. I'm very fortunate I got to do all 13 years there.
When you get drafted to the New England Patriots in the first round, you normally ask the question, how long did it take you for the game to slow down? But obviously, your rookie season was phenomenal. You had 7 interceptions. You're an all-pro cornerback to start your rookie year. I mean, why was the transition so quick for you? Did anything have to do with playing for Schiano and being in a similar system in college?
Yeah, I think so, man. And we laughed, because, we had a couple like young players, their first year would come in and have good years. And then the second year wouldn't be as good. And we used to joke, it was like, man, once I started learning all the New England ways, I got worse as a player. And I think I was young, so I didn't realize it. But my first year, the style of defense we ran really was a bunch of different calls, some man, some zone pressures. And I was a guy that loved studying the game. So I was able to benefit from that. My second year, we switched to, single high, man-to-man. And it was a struggle. And when I was young, I wasn't piecing that together. I was just like, man, I suck. I can't figure this out. But it was the change, and that probably didn't fit me as well as a individual player, but it was what was best for our team. And, wasn't happy when it happened. I remember when Belichick first came to me and was like, hey, 2011, he's like, hey, you're going to play corner on first and second down. And then on third down, you're going to move to safety. I was like, what? Like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And then that next year, switching to safety full time was a blessing. It fit my style, fit that defense that they were running. But it was tough. And that during that transition period, that second and third year was really tough. The doubts, the self-doubt crept in. But figuring that out, it was huge, obviously, for my career. And, I think Coach Belichick saw something in me playing safety that I didn't even see in the beginning.
At what point, and it could even be rookie camp, at what point did you realize you were going to contribute as quickly as you did?
Probably it was in the spring when they put me in with the ones. And when you're a rookie, and I was a rookie that went to Rutgers, like we weren't playing this SEC schedule with all the big time players. So when I got in the huddle with Gerard Mayo and Vince Wilfork, I was like, oh, I don't want to mess this up. And I knew if they put me in that early, they were going to ask me to contribute somehow in some way. I didn't know it would be, starting all 16 games that year, but I knew somehow I would mix in. And then I think 2 weeks later, our starting corner, Lee Bodden, he had shoulder surgery. So he was out for the year. And it was myself and Darius Butler, who was in his second year. We were up and we had to play and start all the games.
Talk to me about that transition from corner to safety? Obviously, playing corner has its own nuances in terms of understanding angles and all that stuff. But then you go into the backside of the defense, and you're really the quarterback in the backside for the defensive backs and communication, all that. Was that a tough transition, or was that natural for you?
Yeah, I think it definitely fit my personality, but I had to adjust. I remember the first game I started at just safety, we were playing Buffalo at home, and we were in a call where if the guy motioned across the ball, we were going from cover 2 to cover 3. And when I was a corner, somebody, I knew it, but I would look at the safety would give me the okay, hey, 3-3. And when the guy moved, I kind of looked at Mayo for Mayo to turn around. He never turned around. So we just played cover 2, and he was like, dude, you got to make the call. And I was like, oh, damn, that is my call. All right, I got it. And I think after that, I got the hang of it. And I think that's when I started to really shine as a leader and a captain, is all of that. Because like you said, Matt, I felt that kind of pressure of being a quarterback of the defense and lining things up and getting everybody together. So I definitely think it helped my leadership qualities, moving to safety and becoming comfortable at that position.
You talked about at the end of your career when people were like, hey, I used to watch you when I was a kid, but when you got up and it was your rookie or your second year, who did you line up against where you felt like that to them? Like, dang, I used to watch you when I was a kid.
Oh, that started early. Training camp, you get in there and you line up and you look at across and there's Randy Moss. You're like, oh, I was sitting there, how the hell did I get here? And, when you're young and with Randy, if he was on the backside of the play and he knew that the ball couldn't come back there, he really would slowly come off, maybe grab you. So when you're a young player, you're like, well, I just jammed Randy Moss up. You feel good about it. And I'll never forget, we had 2 incidents when we went into the red zone for the first time. And I found out what late hands was when a receiver act like the ball's not coming and they wait to the last minute, stick their hands out, catch it. He did that to me 5 times in practice. And then we went to the in-stadium practice, and he beat me for 2 50-yard bombs. And it was like, damn, Brady and Billy O'Brien, they waited, drew it up for him to come on my side. Crowds going crazy. That was definitely my welcome to the NFL moment, going against Randy in practice every day.
When you talk about the Patriot dynasty, a lot of the discussion always revolves around Belichick and Brady. But obviously, as we well know, it takes a full team effort. Can you talk about some of your favorite defenses during that time and why you guys were so dominant?
Yeah, man, I think, starting from the beginning, I think when 2014, when we got Revis and we got Browner, and we finally won our first Super Bowl, that was a cool moment because that was my contract year, and it felt like all of this was coming together. But individually, I was in the middle of damn, I hope this still works out for me. I want to get paid. And for us to have the year we had with that defense, with Vince Wilfork still there, Jamie Collins, Dante Hightower at linebacker, that was just, I think that was one of the first times I played on a defense where I was like, damn, we're a damn good defense. And then 2018 and 2019, playing in that secondary, we had all guys who were older but still good players. Man, some of the stuff we were able to do from a scheme standpoint was so fun. The coaching staff really gave us a lot of leeway and adjustments and everything. And we did. We spent a lot of time watching film together. Hey, man, I want you to go jump this route. I'm going to play over the top. Everybody else on their own. And no one else on the defense would know. And we were able to do some really fun things that, I think made that season special and helped us win Super Bowl 53.
It's funny that you mentioned 2014 defense and the adjustments that you made, because I was in Minnesota at that time. And if you remember, you came to us in week 2 and you guys had shown all 3 down leading up to that game. And we were prepared for the 3-4 defense. Jamie Collins on the outside, like you're saying, you guys show up, you guys are in 4 down, played man-to-man the entire game, no cover 4, and just routed us. It was terrible. Terrible day. Do you remember that day? Because I threw you a pick early. This guy's on the opposite hash. All of a sudden, we run a crossing route right in front of his face. We have a double move post behind him, hoping that he takes that crossing route. He baseball turns around, catches the interception right in the middle field. I was like, oh no.
Hey, we talk about low lights. So that play comes up the next day, and I'm in there like, yeah, that was a good one. Exactly what you said. And Bill, I get pushed out at the 1. And shows the whole play, and he goes, McCourty, we can't step out at the 1 yard line. Like at this point, dive, do something to get in the end zone. Like if we fumble a snap the next play, like this is a ruin and we shouldn't even be on offense. We should be kicking the extra point. I just put my hands up like this is what we're going to go with after that. And that was a specialty low light for me in that 14 season.
Of your 3 Super Bowls, did any of them feel like more relief than, wow, we did this?
I think the last one, and I think it was because we play the Eagles in Super Bowl 52, Nick Foles, Wentz goes down, and Tom has unbelievable game. He throws for over 500 yards, and you have like such a letdown as a defense because it was literally like if we just could get one stop in that game, one extra stop, we win the Super Bowl. So getting back, it just felt like, man, like this is a relief. Like we got to get back and prove that, hey, we won, especially the way we won. We gave up 3 points in a Super Bowl defensively. And I know for me individually, like that was special to be able to do that, especially, alongside my twin brother.
As a leader, obviously the Patriots organization was a veteran group when you came in, but throughout the years, you established yourself as a captain and a leader of this team. Where does that leadership come from as you grew up and as you developed your leadership style?
Yeah, I think my mom, my father passed away when I was young. I was about 3 years old. And my mom, she just ran everything. And she would always kind of become whoever you needed in that moment. If she needed to be a caretaker, she'd be a caretaker. If we messed up and she needed to discipline us, she wouldn't hesitate to grab you up. And I think that's what I kind of learned. And then at my time in New England, I get there as a young captain in my second year. We have Gerard Mayo. We have Vince Wilfork on defense. I really was charged with taking care of the younger guys, figuring out how to get, those guys and myself to play at a high level, become a pro. Those guys leave, I start to realize, hey, I got to be more vocal. I got to change the kind of leadership style that I had. And all of it was in my wheelhouse that fit my personality. But my mom taught me, my mom and Matthew Slater really taught me about servanthood, how to serve other people in leadership, how to step up and, fill the roles that they need.
Do you have a cool collection of jersey swap?
No, I have a few, but I remember it started to become popular when I was playing maybe around 14, 15, and Bill came in there one time and he's like, I get it if you're going to swap jerseys, but we go out there and we play a game and we lose. I don't want to see you posing with the eight beat us. And it became famous in that Kansas City game in 2014. Stephen Ridley and Jamal Charles are posing with a jersey, and Bill puts it up in a team meeting room the next day and goes off. So I have a couple guys that, play safety, Eric Weddle, Malcolm Jenkins, a couple guys like that, I thought were really good players while I was playing. I was able to jersey swap with them.
If you could go back and do it again, is there one player in particular that you would definitely want a jersey swap with? 2.
It'd be Charles Woodson and Ed Reed. No doubt about it. Yeah.
Did you guys have to pay every time for a new jersey for yourself, though, if you gave one away?
Yeah, that was Bill's thing. If you give away a jersey, these jerseys take time. They get customized. If you take it, you pay for it.
What was that cost? Do you know? Do you guys know how much it costs?
I have no idea. They just charge you and not even tell you, I think, half the time.
It's payroll deduct. Yeah. That's where they catch
payroll
you.
deduct. Exactly.
It's like
payroll deduct.
It's like FICA.
Don't worry about
when we get hit for FICA, we don't know what it is or why they're taking that much.
Yeah. We're now in the phase of training camp where you got these joint practices that are going on. Did you get a lot of value out of those joint practices?
I did, man. I enjoyed it. And I think it's different for the skill positions because we're still not banging our heads and going after it, but it allowed us to see different receivers and tight ends, to see different quarterbacks. I remember my rookie year, our first joint practice was Drew Brees. So I went from practice against Brady to now practice against Drew Brees. You can't find a better look, but also different and, how they are in the pocket. One's tall, one's shorter. So just being able to do that and see different offenses, I always felt like helped prepare us for the year. So I used to love the joint practice, especially if we could play enough snaps in joint practice and not have to play in a preseason game. I was all for that as I got older.
How often did you guys go in practice ones versus ones? Meaning, did you go against Brady a lot in practice?
Yeah. Bill felt like training camp was all about a heavyweight fight. It should be haymaker after haymaker, first offense, first defense, going after it, getting after it. And then eventually, even within the season, we would still do a 7-on-7 period. We used to call it good on good. And we'd be like week 16, and he would just want to, rep our kind of base stuff just to make sure we stayed on top of it. And, I always thought that was good because, again, when you play with Brady, like all those reps you get against him, I don't care who you're playing on Sunday, it's definitely going to help you.
How involved was Bill Belichick in your day-to-day in terms of being in your defensive back room and being able to break down the offensive unit and kind of give you little nuances that this scheme might present?
Yeah, I had 2 years where he was in our meeting room every day, 2010 and 2019 until like maybe week 13. And then he kind of backed out and Steven Gerrard took over. But those years, like my rookie year, he was our defensive coordinator basically. And I just was so blown away because the dude would coach everybody. He would start, coach the outside linebacker on get off, coach the defensive tackles on hands, coach the linebackers, hey, don't go in there with this shoulder, just go blow this whole play up. And then he would get on the secondary about communication and steps. And I used to be like, damn, like this guy is so well equipped to coach everything. I tell people now, working on TV and football, that all came from being in a meeting room and watching him coach every position. And I was like, damn, I learned something about playing offensive line that I never thought I would know. And now you can actually talk about those things because you sat in all those Bill Belichick meetings.
If we go back to the Super Bowl against Atlanta, you're down 28-3. Like what's being said on the sideline?
Man, it was one of those things where everyone was trying to be encouraging. I think while like trying to be encouraging, you were also trying to encourage yourself. Like, hey, man, one play at a time. Hey, we're going to get it going. And the truth is when we came out, it was 21-3 at half. We went out there defensively. We went 3 and out. And that was the plan in the locker room. Hey, go 3 and out. Offense go down the score, and it's a brand new game. We go 3 and out. I think the offense either went 3 and out or they got one first down. Atlanta gets the ball back, I think, in like 5 or 6 plays. They score another touchdown. I think that's when we really turned into, hey, man, let's just play for the guy next to you. This was a special season. We had different guys that came in that locker room that year that I thought were very unique. Martellus Bennett, Chris Long. Let's play for those guys. They haven't been able to win a lot in their career. And the next thing you know, a few plays happened and the whole game turned around.
What was more stressful, that game? Because it seems like in the second half, you're just like, hey, screw it. Let the cards fall where they may. But then you've also got the Seattle Super Bowl, right, where they're going down. They're, second and goal, and Malcolm Butler steps in front of that play. But the stress on the defensive side of the ball has got to be at the utmost.
No doubt about it. That's Seattle Super Bowl 49. Way more stress. We went out there in the second half, and we were like, hey, let's just keep people watching the game. Like, let's make sure they don't turn and go watch something else. Where in that Seattle Super Bowl, we're like, man, somebody make a play. One person make one play and this game's over, and the ball gets all the way down to the 1-yard line, and Malcolm makes that play. And that was after I lost Super Bowl 46 to the Giants. So when Curse made that catch, I was like, oh, here we go again, another tough loss. Like, this sucks. And for Malcolm to make that play, I mean, incredible play.
When Brady leaves, how does that change the locker room?
I used to tell people this all the time. The unique thing about New England was Brady was coachable. Brady allowed Bill to coach him harder than anybody else. And in our league, you do. As a player, you can decide not to be coachable, and it ruins the whole team. So when he left, we lost that example of Bill being able to dig into somebody, get after them, and watch that person rise and to just follow that person. And I think even for Bill, it was an adjustment. I got cursed out a little bit more. Matthew Slater got a little bit more, but nobody was that measuring stick the way Tom was. It was definitely a big blow losing a guy like him, because even with Cam coming in and how special of a player Cam was throughout his career, it just, the way Bill handled him was different than how he handled Tom. He had Tom since he was a rookie. There was just some built-in trust of how he could attack him that was just different once he left.
What do you think of the New England Patriots right now? Obviously, coming off the success that they had last year, Mike Vrabel's first season, Drake May, but what do you project for them this season? Because wouldn't you say that they are a better football team at this point?
I think they've improved from last year and what they did this offseason. it's so funny because last year being up there doing the preseason games, it was like, man, if we just get 9 wins, we're ahead of schedule. Next thing you know, you look up, you're in the Super Bowl, and now this year everybody's like, man, we need to make sure we win the division. We got to get back to the Super Bowl, and how fast things change. But I think they're better equipped. The amount of weapons they have, being up there watching training camp, the receivers, everybody. So I think they'll be better. I don't think their record will be better than last year, but I do think they'll be more equipped to try to win and play, winning football in the playoffs this year, because again, we all got to be honest, the road to the Super Bowl was a lot easier last year than it will be this year. So they'll have to be better, but that might not show up in their overall record.
How's the TV clothing allowance?
Man, it's not as high as I thought it would be. I'm reaching into a little bit of that football money to make sure my mom's not disappointed in my Sunday night clothes.
Yeah, I was on that college football, the Saturday, Big Ten Saturday night, and I was like, so do we have a little budget here? No budget for that show at all. So you're definitely coming out of pocket.
Yeah, I had one budget for the 4 years now. One time I had a budget 1 year.
You got to work that into the deal. You got to work that into the deal. How's it been working with Mike Tomlin? I know you guys are getting ready to start season, all that stuff. He's the new face of Sunday Night Football. What's that been like?
Man, he's been awesome. He's so open and willing to talk about any of the topics. And I think people will see once we go on and we're on air, but like the fun happens. We were down out in Canton, Tuesday leading into the Thursday game, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, the stories being told over dinner or grabbing a drink, like just hanging out with him has been a lot of fun. He's one of those coaches that I didn't get to play for, but he was in my top like 2 or 3 of like, if I'm not in New England, I want to play for Tony Dungy or Mike Tomlin. Like those were some of the guys that you would have loved to play for, especially as a defensive player. So it's been really cool getting to know them and being around them.
Do you feel a bit it'll be like Saban for sure, even Belichick a bit, where we think of Tomlin as the guy who's given us the press conferences that weren't a lot said, but now that he's able to not be the coach, he's going to be someone who's a little more demonstrative, someone who's a little more animated. Like we're going to find that from him.
Yeah, and this dude he just has a way with words with these slogans. Like we talked about Hines Ward, and he was like, Hines Ward, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Predator, not prey. Not many receivers are predators. And you sit there and you're like, damn, like I see what you did there. Like that makes a lot of sense. So I think he's going to have a lot of those that really relate to the viewer who's watching, who might not know a lot about football, might not know Hines Ward at all, but they get that picture. And I think he's really good at painting that picture with his words.
You talked about the Hall of Fame, and I want to go to the Hall of Fame speeches real quick, in particular, Adam Vinatieri, and what you thought of his speech, just based on the fact that he went full haywire on everybody.
For one, I got to say, like, before I got to New England, all you guys, you, Drew Bledsoe, Vinatieri. What I've been impressed with is all of you guys, when you've gotten a mic in front of you, have been spectacular in post-career. Like being around Bledsoe, talking to him, and then watching Vinatieri up there. And you're like, all right, Vinatieri's a kicker in New England. He's probably like pretty serious. Gets up there, the McAfee joke, and then the hammer of throwing Bill in there. Again, I don't know if I'm going to bring up Bill and his girlfriend on my day going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he went there. Probably not my style, but I've been so impressed by all you guys. When you get in front of a microphone, you guys, you could tell that locker room was a lot of fun back in the day.
My final question, how'd you know when it was time to hang it up?
I think as a player, when you start thinking out there on the football field, and I had a couple of those times of like, man, I feel like I used to make that play. Feels like I'm a little slower. Or you go play on a random Sunday and you feel like your legs don't work, and it's just an all-out battle each and every week. I started to feel that towards the end of my career, especially that last year. And then the last thing that came to my mind was right before Edelman, the last year he played, we were walking down the hallway, and he was like, hey, man, do you ever get that feeling of like, we're just not playing with the boys anymore? He was like, we had a run where it felt like, man, us and the boys, like the guys that like we were just with year after year, we were just chasing this thing, and it was so much fun. He's like, man, it just starts to feel like all the boys are gone. And that stuck with me because we got lucky. I played in New England with Patrick Chung, I think, for 8 or 9 years, Deron Harmon, 8 years, like Slater, 13 years, Edelman, 12 years. Like, you play with these guys for so long, you kind of forget, like, this isn't normal. So when I started to really get that feeling at the end, I was like, man, it's time to go join a new team, go home with the family and be fully a part of that team more than being a part of the New England Patriots.
Has the transition been incredible, though, since you did finally decide to retire, to be around the kids and be home and be present while doing your career, obviously, in the media, but just that transition of being home and being present around the family?
Yeah, man. Before we got on, we talked about youth football starting. I'm out there on the field coaching the kids up. And I think that's been a really cool part, because I remember when I was young and I got into the NFL, everyone tells you make it last as long. Once it's over, it's over. It's no fun after it's over. And for me, it's been the opposite. Like, I've enjoyed everything from TV to being with the kids to vacations. Like, it's been this chapter in life. Like, I couldn't imagine the year I retired. I went, going to the games. I was like, oh, like, I don't even want to think about playing football anymore. I don't want to think about sitting in a meeting. So it was time for me. And I think that's allowed me to really enjoy retirement.
Well, I can't wait to see your face on TV again for 2 reasons. One, because you're really good. You and your brother are both really good. But two,
appreciate it.
Two, football. We're just ready. I mean, we're ready. It's now we're going through the desert. We're begging for water. We just need it. So we really appreciate the time you spent with us, Devin. Thank you so much. I really loved watching you play, and then I love watching you on NBC now. So thank you very much.
Anytime, man. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks, Devin.
Okay, before we leave for the day, there was a video posted last week on Instagram that featured an archived TV clip of Southern California's top senior quarterbacks heading into the 1999 season.
Oh, from my area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And would you mind hitting that, please?
Take a look at the quarterbacks of the class of 2000. Matt Castle, this kid always has a grin on his face, and he usually ends up in the end zone.
Headed to USC, one of our favorite players. He's very
good
charismatic.
footwork.
He's a throwback, Sammy Ball type.
Sammy Ball.
Huge at 6'5", 220. Not afraid to tuck the ball under his arm and run. Had 11 touchdowns this year. He's just a true leader. He's going to be a field general for years to come for the Trojans.
Oh, what a great clip, guys. Can you send that to me so I can watch it? Oh, fantastic.
Let's be honest. You went in with a coach that recruited you, and then that coach was no longer there.
Yes, he did leave after my freshman year.
Yes. So This is not the case of you going and having everything in your favor and you not living up to it. They changed completely. They changed. Pete Carroll came in. Great guy.
Great coach, great guy. He also went in that first year and recruited, I think we brought in 3 quarterbacks that year that he wanted from his recruiting.
Yeah, you weren't
staff.
his guy.
No, I was not his guy, but I became his guy, just a guy that
Not the
he
guy.
didn't want me to start guy.
Yeah. So you were ranked the 8th quarterback in the nation by ESPN analyst Tom Lemming.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
What were you ranked in your mind?
I have no idea.
Oh, well, you act like 8 was low. I thought you had a better answer.
I'll take it. Thanks, Tom Lemming.
You were also the team's starting punter.
Oh, yeah. I punted. I played starting safety. I would go up and bring the wood a little bit. So I played a lot. Sometimes I'd kick field goals if we needed to.
Really?
Yeah.
You were an all-city selection in football and baseball and had 7 RBIs with 2 home runs in a single game.
Yep. Yeah, I was a good baseball player. I could swing the stick.
College, too.
I know. The funny part about college, though, is all I did during high school was played first base, third base, and hit. I didn't pitch in high school, even though I felt like I could. But I thought the quickest way on the team at USC was to go out and pitch because my arm was in shape. So I just went out there and pitched because I knew sequencing, hitting, and all that stuff takes time. And I didn't have time. I had like 2 weeks to convince this Coach Gillespie, to let me come on the baseball team. He's like, well, what position do you want to play? I know you're a hitter in high school. I was like, no, I think I could pitch. So then they set up that bullpen, went through as hard as I possibly could, ended up making the team, and the rest is history.
Do you know what you threw velocity-wise?
Oh, probably 98. No chance. Back then, like hitting 92 was good. So I think I was right around there, 91, 92.
2 home runs in a single game. Do you remember that game?
I thought I had multiple 2-run home runs.
Oh, you might have. That's just what we pulled. That's just what they said.
I'm trying to think of what game that would be when I hit 2 home runs. I should remember this. But, like I said, when you rake the way I do, home runs a dime a dozen, baby.
Another day.
Dime a dozen.
Another day.
Another day.
Appreciate you guys listening. As always, thanks to Devin McCourty. That is the great Matt Castle. That's Kickoff Kevin. That's Brandon Ray. I'm Bobby Bones. We've had lots to say. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.